Hi, everybody. It's Sarah Willis again. I hope everyone is doing well. I pray everyone is doing well. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you all 8 principles of love. It's the building blocks to bringing forth more lasting love into this physical reality here on Earth. So this video is very much inspired by this book, or part of this book, Plant Spirit Medicine by Eliot Cowan. It's a brilliant book if you're interested in healing or just the power of the natural world around us. But this part of the book inspired this video. So I hope you enjoy it. People from mature societies, like the Hopi, have some penetrating observations about our own culture. Fred Coyote tells the story of an anthropologist who went to an Hopi elder to record some of his people's songs. The old man took him on the edge of the mesa and he sang a song. The anthropologist was recording and making notes, and he asked, "What's that song about?" The old Hopi man said, "Well, that's about the Kachinas come down into the mountains, and then the thunderheads built up around the San Francisco peaks. And then we sing and those clouds come out across the desert, and it rains on the gardens, and we have food for our children." And the old man sang him another song, and the anthropologist asked, "What's that song about?" The old man answered, "That song was about when my wife goes down to the sacred spring to get water to prepare food for us and to prepare the medicines, because without her sacred spring, we wouldn't live very long." And so it went all afternoon. Every time the old man would sing a song, the anthropologist would ask, "What's that about?" And the old man would explain it. "It's about something or other, a river, rain, or water." And then eventually the anthropologist was getting a little short-tempered. He said, "Is water all you people sing about here?" And the old man said, "Yes," he explained. "For thousands of years in this country, we Hopi have learned to live here, because our need for this water is so great to our families and to our people and to our nations. Most of our songs are about our greatest need." I like to listen a lot to American music. Seems like most American music is about love. He asked, "Is that why? Is that because you don't have very much?" So when I read that, I just was, it was really powerful to hear that. So, love. What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. And that's kind of sad that that's the first thing that comes to mind when you think of what is love, is that song. Would most people think, yeah, baby, don't hurt me. Most of us don't really know how to love. We're not taught how to love, especially if we're grown or brought up into toxic families or families that have addictions or toxic tendencies. So these are 8 principles to hopefully, I don't know, I did some research. I tried to discover the purpose of love, or what is love, or how does it work? And what's God's plan for love, and how his nature and his glory is shown through these relationships, through love, through sacred love relationships between the feminine and the masculine. All right, so let's just get right into it. The first principle is not exactly a principle. It's just making the darkness conscious, or being aware of your shadow. I had the diagnosis of borderline personality disorder, and that's basically the spirit of rejection. If I could just summarize very, very quickly for you. It's very complex, but that's what it boils down to. It's someone who feels rejected. So, and this is true even for people who have narcissistic tendencies or the witigo in the masculine. Yeah, they feel rejected. So the first thing is doing shadow work, and a lot of people don't make past this part. A lot of people spend their whole lives in toxic, abusive, codependent relationships, and it's really sad. And that's why this video is being made, so I can hopefully educate people about this. Anywho, so spirit of rejection, discerning the spirit of rejection, doing your shadow work, getting to the core of your wounds, and becoming authentic in your true self. One of these, a way you can actually or discern the spirit of rejection, or to combat it, I guess, not really the best choice of words, but to help that, is the next principle. It's the principle of capacity. And what I mean by that is loving God with all your heart, soul, and mind, and that taps you into the true reality of true connectedness. Even though we may have a parent or two parents that we felt rejected by, we're never rejected by God, and He has a plan for us, or He or she has a plan for you. And that goes into what I'm going to be talking to in a minute. But anyway, so love God with all your heart, soul, and mind. This is a whole video unto itself. But why you must do that first in these principles of love is in my opinion, I've learned in my research that you shouldn't give your whole heart to another human being. You should give all your heart to God, or maybe just 95% of your heart. Give it 95% to God and 5% to a person. And like I said, this is a huge, there's so much to say, but essentially when you do this, your heart can't be broken, or you can't be devastated because you haven't given your whole heart. Your whole heart was given to God, to serve God. Yeah, and also keeps you more authentic in your relationships. You don't depend on your partner to make you happy. You depend on how you serve others and serve service to the Creator. I feel like these are out of order. Yeah, and that's another way you can overcome the spirit of rejection is filling up your heart with love for the Creator and giving your heart, mind, and soul over to Him or her, that force. The next one is principle of balance, another way to also get out of the spirit of rejection wound. Many people, when they have this wounding, they either go into their masculine energies or their feminine polarity. But when you strengthen the other polarity, that disorder gets improved. Like the borderline needs more masculine energy, and the narcissistic personality disorder person needs more of their feminine. They need to open their heart and compassion to other people. They need to see other people. Yeah, the principle of balance is so important. God wants everybody to be a whole, balanced, holy being, two whole people, instead of a codependent and a narcissist or parasitic person. Yeah, balance. The principle of balance is major in discovering who you are and breaking the chains, the demonic chains that are holding you back in your life. And the next step, or the next next principle, is the principle of mastery. When you have the principle of capacity and you love God with all your heart, soul, and mind, you'll get downloads or revelations of who you really are. It's so important to discover who you really are, your identity in the Creator, not your identity of society. It's who are you through God. And yeah, you really have to know who you are in God first before you get into a loving relationship with, partnership, in my opinion. I feel like I had more to say on this. Well, yeah, then this comes into our next coming up principles, the principle of mastery, self-mastery, and also too, yeah, when you have the principle of capacity, filling your heart with your heart, loving the Creator with your heart, soul, and mind, it creates dominion within yourself, self-control, temperance, which is, if you want to have a stable relationship, you have to be yourself, stable within yourself. Okay, And that, so why the principle of mastery is so important, the principle of purpose, or you could also say the principle of compatibility. Can two walk together lest they be agreed? You have to know who you are and where you're going. And when you meet somebody else, you can look to see who they are and where are they going and compare. A lot of couples, when they're breaking up, they'll just say, oh, I don't know what happened, we just grew apart. And that's so not true. That's not how, they never were going the same place to begin with. They never were together. If that makes any sense. You have to know where you're going, so the principle of mastery, and then you have to compare where the other person's going, what choices, what life path do they have in store, and see if there's a match. Does your purpose match? Do you have the same purpose, or are you compatible together? I feel like I had more to say on that too. Yeah. Can two be together lest they be agreed? Can two walk together? Yeah, I guess that's it. Okay, the next one is principle of trust. A lot of people will shape shift sometimes, and they'll present as your perfect match, and they'll say, oh, I am compatible with you. We do have the same purpose. But as you find out, there is just an act, and it takes time to trust someone. If you've been following my whole channel, which I doubt, but anyway, I've mentioned before that I have a love block. I have trouble receiving love, and I've discovered that it's because of this principle. I don't trust anyone yet. But yeah, trust is important in laying that foundation in your relationship. Yeah, and it takes time. It really does. It takes a while to really trust somebody. So yeah, principle of trust. Next one is principle of intimacy. Intimacy can be broken down to into me, I see. And remember the first thing I brought up, the spirit of rejection. This is why this occurs, because the parent or parents or caregivers never saw into the child. So that's why they were rejected. But same thing with sacred love relationships. You have to see into your partner. You have to feel into them, see who they really are, or see what's making them tick, what motivates them. You have to know really who they are and see them. It's really what's causing a lot of chaos in our world, is we're not, invalidation. We're not being seen. And the same thing with children growing up, if they're not seen, depending on whether they have more feminine or masculine energies, they usually become codependent or borderline or empath, and then the male becomes the chaos sorcerer. And it's because the child was never seen. The child was never felt into, or they were never seen for who they really are, and the child had to put on a false self to be accepted. So yeah, it's important with your sacred love relationships to see into your partner and really see them. And the last one plays into the last one I just said, the principle of exchange. Once you've seen into your partner, and you make sacrifices based on what you've seen to help support them and help pour into them, so they can be the best human that they can be, and vice versa. Everything in this universe exists by the principle of exchange. You can witness this in nature, everywhere. It's the principle of exchange, give and take. I'm studying to become a medicine woman, and this is also known as the giveaway principle. Everything, give away and receive. So it's like a dance, kind of, sort of, from what I understand. You see into your partner, or feel into your partner, and then you make gestures of showing love. And I think a really cool example of this would be, or to bring up, the book The 5 Love Languages. I think it's by Gary Chapman. I believe that's his name. I'll research it. But anyway, words of affirmation, gifts, acts of service, quality time, physical touch. You see into the person of who they really are, and what they're wanting, or who they really are. And it's a give and take. The other partner has to do the same for you. They have to see you and see who you really are. and what's motivating you, what makes you tick, and then they should be giving you sacrifices, or the giveaway principle, or the principle of exchange, words of affirmation, pouring into you and giving to you, and it's an exchange, okay? It's a give and take. It's a dance. In codependent or toxic, narcissistic, abusive relationship, there is no exchange. There's only one taker and one giver, and the one person is sacrificing, and the other person's taking and exploiting and discarding over and over again. And that's not what the Creator wants. The Creator wants it, these sacred love relationships to reflect the true reality, and that's the principle of exchange, the give and take. All right, I think we're done. I hope this video was helpful to you, or I hope it was enlightening for you in some way. I know that story for me was huge. I totally had to share it with you all out there. That story in the beginning, how, in our music, it's all about love, and that's because we don't have any. We're so lacking in real, true love, true partnership. And when these partnerships are displayed in the physical reality, God's true nature is conveyed in His glory. It's a really beautiful thing. So I hope it helps at least one couple out there to have a healthy relationship with the feminine and the masculine energies. Much love to everyone. Thank you for watching this video. I pray everyone is doing well. I'll see you guys in my next video.